Something becomes obvious the more you wander around this planet. There are corners of the world where every dollar stretches like it has superpowers, and then there are places where you wince a little every single time you reach for your wallet. My partner and I once set ourselves a challenge to travel for half a year across multiple continents, while keeping our combined spending to right around $100 a day, not counting the flights that got us there. It sounded almost impossible when we said it out loud, but the secret weapon that made it work was simple. We picked destinations where our money quietly did the heavy lifting for us. In some spots, $100 for two travelers feels luxurious. In others, it disappears before lunch. So today I want to walk you through 10 places that gave us extraordinary experiences without draining the bank account, and the last one might catch you off guard. Quick honesty moment before we begin. Words like cheap, affordable, pricey, and expensive are slippery. They land differently depending on where you live and what you earn. With enough cleverness and maybe a few comforts traded away, almost anywhere can be done on a reasonable budget. Everything I am about to mention is what I, as someone earning in US dollars, would call genuinely good value. But make no mistake, you can absolutely turn any of these into a wallet-emptying luxury holiday if you try. What this really is a collection of trips we actually took, fell hard for, and walked away from without financial regret. Let me open with one of my favorite places anywhere on Earth, Thailand. The country has so many incredible pockets that the month we spent there felt far too short. We stayed comfortably below our daily target nearly the whole time. Phuket surprised us since we don't usually chase beaches, yet we adored the old town, the climb up Monkey Hill, and especially the boat trip out to the islands offshore. Bangkok is almost unavoidable as a transit hub, so give it a day or two, catch a Muay Thai match, and grab a drink somewhere high with a view. But the real magic for us was up north in Chiang Mai, where we basically planted ourselves for a couple of weeks. It's cooler than the south, endlessly charming, and we weren't even trying to be frugal yet still averaged $50 or $60 a day. That covered eating out constantly, a lovely place inside the old walls, daily coffee, and more massages than I can count. Some of the finest meals of our lives cost barely $1 or $2. We took a Thai cooking class, browsed the buzzing night markets, wandered out to the nearby waterfalls, and spent a memorable day at an elephant sanctuary. Honestly, it's the kind of place where you arrive for a week and start quietly checking how hard it would be to just stay. Next, swinging over to Europe, is a little gem for nature lovers, Slovenia. Tucked beside crowd magnets like Italy and Croatia, this tiny country, about the size of a small US state, packs in an astonishing range of scenery for almost nothing. Lake Bled looks ripped straight from a storybook, and yes, the locals will swear it's too touristy and tell you to head to Lake Bohinj instead. They may have a point, but I'd still see Bled at least once. I loved jogging the loop around the water at dawn and paddling out to the little island in the middle. The Julian Alps, the vineyards, the gorges, it's all stunning. Fun fact, Slovenia has more beekeepers per person than anywhere on the planet, so taste the local honey while you're there. The capital, Ljubljana, is wonderfully walkable, and we even slept in a converted former prison turned hostel where the rooms used to be cells. Then there's Poland, somewhere I never planned to love and now can't stop recommending. From the Baltic charm of Gdansk down to the dramatic Tatra Mountains, it's loaded with experiences at gentle prices. Krakow floored me with its beautifully preserved medieval heart, lively market square, and deep, sometimes heavy history nearby that's worth confronting. The food alone justifies the trip: hearty stews, crispy potato pancakes, and of course dumplings, all in enormous portions for very little. Look for the traditional milk bars to eat like royalty on pocket change. A bit closer to my own home sits Costa Rica, a paradise of jungle and coastline. It runs slightly higher than its Central American neighbors but remains a bargain for what you get. The laid-back town on the Caribbean side stole our hearts, with easygoing beaches, a cute walkable center, and serious adventure on tap. We went whitewater rafting through scenery that looked like a dinosaur movie set, tried ziplining, and toured a cacao farm. Splitting a house with friends and cooking a few meals ourselves, we easily kept under $100 a day. Cambodia is shamefully overlooked and remarkably cheap. The temple complex at Angkor left us speechless with its scale and grandeur. We hired a friendly local guide and tuk-tuk driver for a day and a half, and honestly, the warmth of the people there was the real highlight. Phnom Penh is hard to skip since most flights route through it, and I'd urge you to spend time learning about the country's painful recent history. One practical note: US dollars are widely used, though your change often comes back in the local currency by the millions. For sheer value, Greece punches way above its weight, even in busy Athens. Flights in are often cheap, many major sites are free or nearly so, and a multi-day pass bundles the big ones together. Yes, touristy spots charge touristy prices, but step slightly off the trail and you'll find quiet streets and authentic, affordable food. If you love grilled meat, you'll be in heaven. The famous islands cost more, but even those can be managed on a budget if you skip the fanciest hotels. The Philippines, scattered across more than 7,000 islands, is a dream for beach lovers and divers, and astonishingly light on the wallet. Manila is the usual entry point, but the islands are where the soul of the place lives. The limestone cliffs and impossibly clear water around El Nido were unforgettable. We splurged on a private room in a fantastic hostel, made lifelong friends, rented a scooter to roam, and had whole beaches entirely to ourselves. Do yourself a favor and take at least one island hopping tour. Croatia has surged in popularity, and while the famous coast can get pricey, the inland regions stay refreshingly affordable. We spent a full month there and fell hardest for the interior and the Istrian Peninsula. The capital, Zagreb, gets unfairly skipped. I adore it precisely because it feels like a genuine working city rather than a postcard, blending old imperial grandeur with a distinct local character, plus a terrific food scene. A couple hours away lie the Plitvice Lakes, 16 terraced pools linked by cascading waterfalls, like walking through a living painting, especially with autumn colors blazing. Istria itself feels like Italy without the crowds, all rolling hills, hilltop villages, vineyards, and truffle hunting with local families. Hungary rounds out the European entries beautifully. Budapest delivers grand architecture, the magnificent parliament along the river, and an easy, cheap public transport system, so grab a multi-day pass. Wander the Jewish Quarter for its famous ruin pubs built inside abandoned buildings, and soak in the historic thermal baths. Just bring your own towel to save a little. Beyond the capital, places with hilltop castles, wine cellars, and a vast central lake offer a calm, affordable escape. And the last one might surprise you because for my American viewers, it's right in the backyard, and for everyone else, it belongs on the list. It's the Great Loop through the American Southwest. We did this during the strange, travel-starved months of 2020, flying into Phoenix, renting a car, and weaving through the Grand Canyon, past Lake Powell and the Slot Canyons, through Monument Valley, into Moab for its arches and canyon country. Then the quieter Capitol Reef, the otherworldly spires of Bryce, and finally the cathedral walls of Zion. We picnicked constantly, slept in modest guest houses, and kept it genuinely cheap while seeing some of the most jaw-dropping landscapes on the continent. That's the list: 10 places that proved memorable travel doesn't require an enormous budget, just smart choices about where to point your compass. If this helped you dream up your next escape, the real reward is out there waiting. Wherever you go next, travel well, spend wisely, and enjoy every mile of it.